Rare historical photos you've never seen, the last one will leave you speechless. Stay tuned until the end. A few fascinating facts are waiting for you. Anna Nicole Smith marries 89-year-old tycoon J. Howard Marshall II. 14 months of vows, years of courtroom echoes. Bolivia's North Yungas Road, Death Road, beauty with no guardrails. A stadium misses FIFA standards. Developers bolt in 18,000 extra seats. Compliance by construction. 1950s children ferry themselves across a river to get to school. Education rigged to rope and courage. Alceder White's 1960s beach scene, light, calm, and the soft mirage of the American dream. Goodyear's glowing tires, early 60s, brilliant idea, brief career. Aquamen, a French troupe, wear aquariums on their heads with live fish, performance art you can stare back at. Bianca Passark dances on bottles in Hamburg, a street performance that became local legend, equal parts balance, bravado, and folklore. The most elongated skull yet found, human variation stretching the silhouette. Buick tried touchscreens in 1986, too early for fingers still married to knobs. German women in World War II hauling heavy buckets knotted with rope. The image became shorthand for endurance on the home front. Some Italian beaches place special bins just for pizza boxes. Waste management tailored to appetite. Refueling a seaplane mid-air, an audacious idea that stretched aviation's reach and imagination. Mannequins advertising a pirate serial look eerie to modern eyes. Once, an open-air warning about crime and punishment. Girls by the Water, 1970s, light dresses, an easy summer afternoon, and the kind of warmth only ordinary moments can hold. December 2024, New Zealand shores a rare beaked whale. Science meets a melancholy gift. Photographers await an atomic blast, the shudder about to divide science into before and after. Computers once filled trucks, now they're power rides in the palm, progress reduced to a single comparison. Yalta Conference, Stalin and Churchill weighing a world in recovery, a frame that still carries the gravity of compromise. A peanut-suited hawker at century's end, marketing by spectacle, ingenuity painted in costume. Birds learn to use a thick glass bottle to smash snails. Innovation isn't exclusively human. Brandenburg Gate, Soviet soldier directing traffic. For a breath, it feels like he's directing history itself. Jenny McGregor defies prohibition, hiding liquor in life vests, resourcefulness worthy of a legend. This bus rear-ends a car enough to wear its trunk. Public service announcement in crumpled metal. Distance matters. A woman steals 5 eggs to feed her kids. Officer William Stacy brings a van of groceries. Law with a human clause. Moscow Olympics rehearsal. Dancers and gymnasts in perfect lines. Ambition and patriotism choreographed together. In late notes, Nikola Tesla laments a life unmet by its audience, recognition arriving on a delay no inventor wants. Old photos sometimes lean into fear, giant spiders framed to startle remote corners of the world. Charles Bronson, Britain's most notorious prisoner stares from a cell, charisma weaponized, then contained. Gas-proof prams arrive across England in 1938. Domestic life armored for the worst. Kenny Waters walked free in 2001 after 18 years. His sister became a lawyer to undo the mistake. California flu rules: no mask, no street, fines and arrests that feel unreal in the 21st century. A San Francisco drive-in, films projected to windshields, cinema that never leaves the car. (1918) Spanish flu, masks and armbands woven into the street's daily uniform. Steve Jobs tests photo booth filters, an icon trying on new faces before the rest of us did. Moscow, late 1950s, first steps towards self-service stores, shoppers tentatively lifting goods from shelves, Universum still a decade away. A motorized baby pram, England, 1922. Everyday chores solved with a mechanic's grin. Charles C. Ebbitt's lunch atop a skyscraper, another angle shows the rig that made the daredevil calm. The line between the US and Canada made visible, geography with a haircut. The selfie isn't new. 1957 saw a camera fixed to a stick and a grin to match. Berlin, 1921. Children filling their own race maps. Bravery came standard in those days. Ethan Zuckerman invented the pop-up ad to keep brands away from awkward content. Later, he apologized to the internet. A monastery's refectory door made narrow on purpose. Gluttons stayed hungry. Moscow's Neglinaya Street, 1965. Summer uncrowns the city. Laughter carries down a warm corridor of light. A lemon left to overgrow, twisted into a yellow bergamot look-alike by time. Safety bars and redundancies are modern luxuries. Yesterday's cable cars trusted luck and a good grip. A visit to the ship's dentist felt like an interrogation. Early care looked more like courage. A 1973 kolkhoz picnic in Vozrozhdenie. Songs, shared tables, and a group photo to keep the day from escaping. Children in this frame are German soldiers captured by the US 6th Armored Division. War doesn't check ages. Monowheels in circulation by 1938. Futurist oddities that still look borrowed from tomorrow. Paris, 1920. Two women, one in trousers, one in a dress, freedom tested in fabric. In Japan, some firms give 6 extra vacation days to non-smokers, perks as payback for cigarette breaks. A woman wires 830,000 euros to a Brad Pitt scammer. Loneliness is a hacker's best exploit. A forest that is one organism, trunks sharing a root network, many faces, one body. A gas cylinder rides a car roof, ingenuity under fuel rationing. Jakob Nacken, 221 centimeters, the tallest World War II soldier, chats with a 167 centimeter Canadian corporal. War levels rank, not height. Ella Williams measured a little over 213 centimeters, the tallest woman of her day, standing where ceilings end. Human alarm clocks once tapped windows at dawn. Service economy before silicon. Around 400 CE in what's now Peru, a skull is repaired with a gold plate, surgery and symbolism in one sheet. A Nash car elevator in New York, engineering dressed like science fiction. Odessa Beach Day, 1971. A girl on the rocks, sea breeze as reset button. The Statue of Liberty wrapped in scaffolding, restored to shine like opening day. California earthquake, damage from the air, fault lines translated into streets. An Indian scientist peddles rocket parts, passion doing the heavy lifting when budgets cannot. An electric truck on charge, 1905, evidence that EV history began long before hashtags. Bill Gates's 1977 mugshot for traffic offenses, the outline later echoed in a default profile avatar. Early 20th century German fishermen haul in a wide-mouthed shark. The catch pulls a crowd from the docks. Early 40s X-ray machines, making the invisible visible and medicine permanently different. Post-war bubble cars, hope condensed into a compact outline for tidy city living. Denmark's special unit Frogmen, amphibious discipline in a wetsuit and will. A Japanese mirror designed for self-portraits, century-old selfies with silvered charm. August Landmesser, 1936, arms raised all around him, his stays down. One man, one refusal. Northwestern American forest, loggers look tiny, work like giants. A centenarian tortoise mothers almost 800 hatchlings, one shell pushing a species back from the edge. Malcolm X in a 1964 magazine photo with a rifle, threats answered with vigilance. Soviet miners uncover a petrified stump underground, the past interrupting the present. Emma Hawke scrawls letters through schizophrenia. Darling, please come, written into a chorus. Insects swarm higher ground during floods, a brown river alive with escape. An American photographer meets the giants of Kashmir, myth sized for the lens. Where the Great Wall begins, near Shanhai Guan by the Yellow Sea, and it runs, breaks, resumes 21,196 kilometers of persistence. New York acrobats against the skyline, audiences hold their breath with every step. Milk expiration dates trace to Al Capone's fury when his niece was sickened, crime nudging public health. Polydactyly and its opposites, this man was born with 4 fingers to a hand. Anatomy edits the template. At Point Nemo, people stand farther from land than astronauts are from Earth. Oceanic nowhere. Mototaxis in the 1920s. Streets discover a faster heartbeat. Queen Elizabeth II drove herself for decades. In 2019, at 93, her son ended the habit. Independence handed back the keys. American soldiers leaving for Egypt, parting framed in hugs and history. Arizona's cell tower disguised as a cactus, bars masquerading as botany. The Montparnasse derailment, when a station wall gave way, the photo became the lesson. Think honeycombs, then zoom further. This is Pentasine's molecule, imaged in 2009 with an atomic force microscope. Chris Espinosa joined Apple at 14 in 1976, garage to campus, the longest-serving employee's arc. In Australia, groceries by motor scooter, urban convenience with a 2-stroke heartbeat. Socks the cat leapt into Chelsea Clinton's arms in 1991 and into the White House, until Buddy the lab arrived. Politics complicates pets. A Canadian worker among munitions for Britain, reliability photographed in rows of shells. Michael Jackson on the set of The Way You Make Me Feel, 1987, pop royalty standing with LA street culture. A 1937 Paris station, city life flickers past on the platform edge. The first bottle of Coca-Cola sold, 1894, history with fizz. India's National Fisheries Development Board, HQ, an office building shaped like an enormous fish, on brand and unapologetic. March 5th, 1953, dates that rewrite personal and national stories. Marine Engel's Chicago River feat shows engineering still astonishes decades on. A women's firefighting team in London competes. Courage refuses a gender box. Japan in the 1930s caged murderers for public starvation. Punishment made spectacle. Submarine control rooms, levers laced together, survival taught in muscle memory. The Knife Angel in Birmingham, 100,000 blades turned into a 27-foot memorial against violence. 1997, a hunter steals a tiger's kill, sleeps in a nearby tent. The tiger remembers the address. California's 1924 snow wagons, winter solved with ingenuity and timber. 1,925 medical students dissect a complete human nervous system, 1,500 hours to reveal the body's wiring. Gemini 8's capsule returns with Armstrong and Scott after an in-flight crisis, discipline bringing a mission home. Bonnie Haim vanished in 1996. In 2014, her son Aaron found a skull and a point. .22 shell at the family home. By 2019, a verdict closed the file. Emmanuel Macron met Brigitte as a 15-year-old student. Years later, they married. Age gap turned into a headline, then a marriage. Hans-Georg Henke, age 16, cries when captured. War looks like that up close. Tragedy slips into frame. A boy stands near a plane crash, the photo that couldn't look away. A honeybee stinger detaching mid-sting. Tiny harpoon, big cost for the attacker. Brussels builds a 12-seat bicycle for an engineering expo. Collective motion as a thesis. The first flower grown in space. Zinnia, aboard the ISS 2016, pedals in 0G. A Harley-Davidson with sidecar as early ambulance, saving lives before the standard siren. Varakin's transport wheel, an engineer's dare turned into hardware. Big Mac then and now, 2024 brings a higher price and a humbler bun. Citroën DS demonstrates hydropneumatic suspension, 20th century grace built on pressure and fluid. Adam Rayner was both dwarf and giant, 122 centimeters at 18, then a growth surge to 234 centimeters by death. Biology's rare detour. Mid-century posture contests, finalists even x-rayed to prove their perfect spine. Looks like ocean waves, it's not. Pattern doing a perfect impression. The world's highest mileage car, over 5.31 million kilometers in 52 years. Roads as biography. 1940s beauty salons used elaborate permanent wave machines. The grandmother of modern curlers hummed like industry. A Sikorsky helicopter sets a January record, lifting 17 people. Aviation balances risk with reward. Lightning finds a boat mid-shot. Electric punctuation on open water. Girls with an unusual toy bike in an 80s photo, childhood unfiltered and inventive. 2009, the Maldives cabinet meets underwater, policy in scuba masks to plead for a drying nation. Hairstyles of past decades made noise, style as a dare and a declaration. An English road cut like a cake slice, layers of centuries stacked beneath tires. Victorian ladies practice riding at home, parlor simulators training posture and poise. Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived Hiroshima and Nagasaki, 2 atom bombs, 1 life left in pieces. A quirky 3-wheeled cycle from the 19th century, mobility democratized by design experiment. Margaret Burke White climbs a skyscraper gargoyle for the shot, risk turned to classic. Inside a sea turtle's mouth, nature loves a nightmare design when it works. The Eiffel Tower, France in one outline, immune to the calendar. Even infants wore gas masks in World War II, an anxious yet careful shield for small lungs. Hoover Dam turbine captured by engineers. Industry's muscle flexing for the camera. 2 up on a Paris motorbike, speed and romance sharing the pillion. Brigitte Bardot in the 1960s helped redefine on-screen femininity and fashion. She shocked censors, inspired designers, and later shifted from cinema to outspoken animal rights activism. In Italy, decency, fines for skirts deemed too short were enforced by local authorities through the 1950s to 1960s, with police issuing penalties and even barring miniskirts from certain public venues in the mid-1960s. And now we'll share 5 interesting facts. Wilhelm Röntgen revealed the skeleton without a single incision by discovering X-rays. His first image of his wife's hand shocked audiences and medicine alike. inside became visible in a flick of radiation and glass. Surgeons and diagnosticians suddenly had light where there had been darkness. Julius Caesar reshaped Rome with campaigns and reforms that pushed the Republic toward empire. Captured by pirates as a young man, he coolly insisted they raise his ransom because he was worth more. After being freed, he raised a small fleet, hunted them down, and carried out their execution. The episode became an early glimpse of his audacity and iron memory. Vasco da Gama cracked the ocean route from Europe to India and rerouted global commerce. His landfalls linked spices to European markets without overland middlemen. The voyage ignited a century of maritime rivalry among empires. It also ushered ports like Calicut into a volatile world economy. Thomas Jefferson penned the Declaration and doubled U.S. territory with the Louisiana Purchase. He dispatched Lewis and Clark almost immediately, turning ink on a treaty into facts on the ground. Their journals mapped rivers, tribes, and prairies that would define a nation. It was geopolitics done with compasses and specimen jars. Peter the Great dragged Russia toward the Baltic and modernity with shipyards and laws. He labored anonymously in European dockyards to learn shipbuilding himself. Back home, he hammered a navy into being and a court into new habits. The window he cut to the sea changed Russian horizons. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget history and make sure to subscribe to the channel.